اللهم ارحمنا برحمتك إياهم واقبلنا بقبولك لهم يا رب العالمين. اللهم إنهم قد تركوا الدنيا خلف ظهورهم ولجأوا إليك بالاعتكاف فاقبلهم واقبلنا معهم يا رب العالمين. اللهم ارحمهم وارحمنا معهم يا رب العالمين. اللهم اغفر لهم ولنا ولهم يا رب العالمين. اللهم اغفر لنا ولهم يا رب العالمين. اللهم الحقنا بهم مع النبيين والصديقين والشهداء والصالحين وحسن أولئك رفيقا. اللهم يسر لنا ولا تعسر يا رب العالمين. اللهم لا تجعل فينا شقيا ولا محروما. اللهم لا تجعل فينا شقيا ولا محروما ولا مطرودا من رحمتك يا ارحم الراحمين. اللهم لا تدع لنا طالب علم الا وفقته. اللهم وفق طلابنا يا رب العالمين. اللهم وفق طلابنا يا رب العالمين. اللهم لا تدع فينا معسرا الا يسرت له يا رب العالمين. اللهم لا تدع فينا معسرا الا يسرت له يا رب العالمين. اللهم لا تدع فينا عاجلا الا زوجته. اللهم لا تدع فينا عاجلا الا زوجته ولا طالب علم الا وفقته ولا مسافرا الا لاهله سالما غانما رددته. اللهم لا تجعل لنا مسافرا الا لاهله سالما غانما رددته. اللهم اقض حاجاتنا في الامور كلها. اللهم اقض حاجاتنا في الامور كلها. اللهم اقض حاجاتنا في الامور كلها. اللهم اغفر لنا ولوالدينا. اللهم اغفر لنا ولوالدينا. رب ارحمنا اذا صرنا الى ما صاروا اليه يا رب العالمين. اللهم ارحمنا اذا صرنا الى ما صاروا اليه يا رب العالمين. وارزقنا اولادا يدعون لنا ويتقبل دعاءهم يا رب العالمين. اللهم اجعلنا اولادا برين بابائهم وامهاتهم واقبل دعاءنا وارزقنا الدعاء لهم دائما وابدا يا ربنا. اللهم امين امين. واخر دعوانا ان الحمد لله رب العالمين. وصلى اللهم وسلم على سيدنا محمد وعلى اله وصحبه وسلم.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Our Ustad Ibrahim Muhammad Ali Sahib, he is with us. I would say that if you would like to take some break, have some refreshment, and then he will be able to talk on a small topic. We can start now? All right. Okay. Yeah. Should I can bring the chair? Are you sure? All right.
Maybe we can do a brief bayan and then
No,
maybe we can do a brief bayan.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. بسم الله الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه من والاه. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. اللهم انفعنا بما علمتنا وعلمنا ما ينفعنا وزدنا علما. اللهم أرنا الحق حقا وارزقنا اتباعه وأرنا الباطل باطلا وارزقنا اجتنابه. Our respected brothers and sisters in Islam, alhamdulillah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala enabled us to gather in His house, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala enabled us to stay awake late at night at one of the last nights of Ramadan, seeking the Laylatul Qadr, hoping that may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it the Laylatul Qadr, the night of Qadr, the great night, the noble night in which Quran was sent down, the noble night in which destinies are made, the noble night in which thousands and millions of people are set free from hellfire. So hoping from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He considers us amongst those who are freed from the hellfire, inshaAllah. Allahumma ajirna min al-nar, Allahumma ajirna min al-nar, Allahumma ajirna min al-nar, Ya Mujib, Ya Mujib, Ya Mujib. So this last set of 10 days of Ramadan are basically known as the Ashra of freeing oneself, seeking from Allah freedom from hellfire. And this reminds me and us the ayah from Quran, إِنَّ الْمُنَافِقِينَ فِي الدَّرْكِ الْأَسْفَلِ مِنَ النَّارِ, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that the hypocrites will be in the lowest pit of the fire. So I was just thinking, because the other day I spoke on the significance of Al-Fatiha, because that is the beginning of Quran. Today we'll spend just a few minutes, inshallah, on talking about the groups of people Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has mentioned in the beginning of Surah Al-Baqarah. And the most important group of people, what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is warning us from, is also mentioned in Surah Al-Baqarah. So, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala begins the beautiful surah by أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم, saying Alif Lam Mim. There are three letters, حروف مقطعات, separated letters. And as we all know in Quran, multiple surahs begin with these حروف مقطعات. And Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, as he was Nabiyyun Ummi, when he said these letters, Alif Lam Mim, the people he was talking to knew he was unable to read. However, when he mentioned Alif Lam Mim, that itself was an i'jaz, that itself was a miracle. Because a person who is not taught how to read, when he mentions the letters, because he's not supposed to be knowing the letters, because he doesn't know how to read. That itself is an i'jaz, that it is the kalamullah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When he said Alif Lam Mim, ذَلِكَ الْكِتَابُ لَا رَيْبَ فِيهِ, that book has no doubt. هُدًى لِلْمُتَّقِينَ. It is a guidance for those who protect themselves, who are conscious of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then Allah mentions them, الَّذِينَ يُؤْمِنُونَ بِالْغَيْبِ, who are those who believe in the unseen, وَيُقِيمُونَ الصَّلَاةَ, and those who perfect their salah, who establish salah, وَمِمَّا رَزَقْنَاهُمْ يُنْفِقُونَ, and those, and they spend out of which we have provided them. Now, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is mentioning that Quran is a guidance for a specific group of people. And because Quran is a guidance for a specific group of people, we must strive to be amongst those group of people who expect to be guided from Quran. And Allah is clear-cut describing the qualities of the people of taqwa. Right? First condition is iman bil ghayb, our belief in the unseen. It should be so powerful that it would compel us to do acts that otherwise we would not be able to do. So criteria number one, يُؤْمِنُونَ بِالْغَيْبِ, those who believe in the unseen. And in the unseen, obviously, the first and foremost, believe in the tawheed of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that He exists, the belief in the angels of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the belief in the destiny, the belief in the Jannah, the belief in the qada wa qadar. And then they believe in the unseen so much that they perfect their salah. They establish salah. They pray themselves, and not only do they pray themselves, they perfect their salah. They are conscious about their salah. They would go out of the way for having their life revolve around salah instead of salah revolving around their life. وَيُقِيمُونَ الصَّلَاةَ. And then they believe in the unseen so much that compels them to spend out of which we have provided them. Because they believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who is the sole provider of rizq. And they know where it's coming from. And because they know where the rizq is coming from, they do not hesitate to spend more and more and more and more of it in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's way. Because of their iman bil ghayb. The strength of their iman bil ghayb makes them perfect their salah. The strength of their iman bil ghayb makes them spend from the rizq. Because they know the source of the rizq. So they keep spending, Their firm faith in Allah is the provider of rizq. And they do not make excuses for their iman that, we sometimes, we might fall short of practicing Islam, saying that, for rizq, it's a necessity, so I have to, cut ends. I have to take shortcuts because of rizq. For seeking rizq, we might displease the provider of rizq. So belief in the unseen enable us to spend out of the rizq of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, act on the teaching of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, وَإِمَّا رَزَقْنَاهُمْ يُنْفِقُونَ وَالَّذِينَ يُؤْمِنُونَ بِمَا أُنزِلَ إِلَيْكَ. Those who believe in what has been sent down to you, O Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. وَمَا أُنزِلَ مِن قَبْلِكَ. And that which has been sent down before you. وَبِالْآخِرَةِ هُمْ يُوقِنُونَ. And in the hereafter, in the last day, they firmly believe. Initially Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned يُؤْمِنُونَ. They believe. Iman is a strong belief in itself. However, when he comes down وَبِالْآخِرَةِ هُمْ يُوقِنُونَ, Allah is not repeating the word يُؤْمِنُونَ. He's saying يُوقِنُونَ from iqan. Now the word yaqeen is there in many other languages as well, in Urdu too. In the hereafter they firmly believe. ما هو الفرق بين الإيمان والإيقان? What is the clear difference between iman and iqan? Iman is belief, agreed. But iqan is belief as if you see it. So their belief in the unseen, Allah is already mentioning it. That is the propeller, that is their catalyst, that is their motivator in all the good deeds they do, whatever they do in their life. And the belief in the hereafter is as if they see it. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sums their description and mentions أُولَٰئِكَ عَلَىٰ هُدًى مِّن رَّبِّهِمْ. Those are the ones who are upon guidance from their Lord, from their Master. وَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْمُفْلِحُونَ. And they are the ones who are successful. The first Quran is guidance for these people, and then Allah is wrapping things up by giving us the good news. That you want to be successful, you want to be guided, these people. They are the ones upon guidance from their Lord, and they are the ones who are the successful ones. وَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْمُفْلِحُونَ. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions a second group of people. And the second group of people Allah talks about أُولَٰئِكَ عَلَىٰ هُدًى مِّن رَّبِّهِمْ وَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْمُفْلِحُونَ إِنَّ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا. No doubt, those who have disbelieved, سَوَاءٌ عَلَيْهِمْ. It makes no difference أَأَنذَرْتَهُمْ, whether you warn them or not. أَمْ لَمْ تُنذِرْهُمْ لَا يُؤْمِنُونَ. They are not going to believe. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking about disbelievers here. People who are declaring that they do not believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now this doesn't mean that they have no hope in them, but if they remain in that state, they won't believe. For them to be guided, they have to be thirsty for guidance. And the thirst for guidance comes from tawfiq of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You and I have to give them an opportunity, give da'wah. However Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, they will not believe, no matter what you do. Allah is consoling Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, rahmatul alameen. Now this is the second group of people, and pretty much they themselves admit that we do not believe. And they have a brief description, because they do not need signs. They themselves say we are not believers. Muttaqeen are important, so Allah describes them further. The eligible people who will be guided from Quran, or guidance of Quran will benefit them. You know, they are like a fertile soil. A little bit of drizzle is required, a little bit of irrigation is required, and the plants would come out of it, and they would bear fruits. But imagine if the floor is rock or hard cemented floor. No matter how good the rain is, whatever fertilizer you put on it, what quality of seed, genetically modified, natural, organic, whatever you put on it, it won't grow it, because it was so hard. So then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions third group, the scary people. And how many ayat Allah is defining their signs? 13 ayat. Allah is talking about them in great detail. So after this description, إِنَّ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا سَوَاءٌ عَلَيْهِمْ أَنذَرْتَهُمْ أَمْ لَمْ تُنذِرْهُمْ لَا يُؤْمِنُونَ خَتَمَ اللَّهُ عَلَى قُلُوبِهِمْ وَعَلَى سَمْعِهِمْ وَعَلَى أَبْصَارِهِمْ غِشَاوَةٌ وَلَهُمْ عَذَابٌ عَظِيمٌ. Now because of the extent of their disbelief, the disbelieving people, Allah has put a seal upon their hearts. خَتَمَ اللَّهُ عَلَى قُلُوبِهِمْ وَعَلَى سَمْعِهِمْ, and on their hearing. وَعَلَى أَبْصَارِهِمْ غِشَاوَةٌ. They refuse to hear. Now they won't even see. So Allah put a seal on their sight, on their vision. So what kind of seal? It's a curtain. وَلَهُمْ عَذَابٌ عَظِيمٌ, and they have a great punishment. And great punishment, you know, Allah is not defining it further. Just great punishment, huge punishment. That's from Azam, Azim. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala begins وَمِنَ النَّاسِ مَن يَقُولُ آمَنَّا بِاللَّهِ وَبِالْيَوْمِ الْآخِرِ وَمَا هُم بِمُؤْمِنِينَ. He says, among the people are those who say we have believed in Allah. Allah is telling their act that they say we have believed in Allah. وَمِنَ النَّاسِ مَن يَقُولُ آمَنَّا بِاللَّهِ وَبِالْيَوْمِ الْآخِرِ. And in the last day, وَمَا هُم بِمُؤْمِنِينَ. And they are not believers. So Allah is telling that they consider themselves as believers, but they are not believers. And here's the scary part. When I was growing up, I would think that, munafiq or a hypocrite knows that they are a hypocrite. Just like a kafir knows that he's a kafir. Hypocrite, when we studied the seerah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, we studied about hypocrites found around him. So, the scary thing is, a munafiq might not even know that they are being munafiq. I used to think munafiq is a label, just like the kafir is. But munafiq is a condition. Nafaqa, a breed of lizard in Arabic, it has 2 holes to its burrow. And it keeps 2 holes. If it is afraid, if it is threatened by a predator from one side, it escapes, it spits from another hole. They always keep 2 holes. So when this is the state of anybody's life, including me, myself, in different situations that I've put for myself 2 exits. If I'm benefiting more from here, I get inclined here. I get benefited more from here, I get inclined here. I'm keeping it ambiguous for us to reflect, introspect, from where in our life we are, or we might be, falling prey to these symptoms that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is mentioning here in Surah Al-Baqarah in great detail. So you can read the translation of these ayats of Surah Al-Baqarah. Now I won't go in the 13 ayats that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala describes the symptoms of munafiq. Rather, I'll go through a few ayats of Surah Al-Hadith, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala further describes the munafiq in detail. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, he's mentioning about the Day of Judgment. Allah is talking about them. Allah is saying, يَوْمَ تَرَى Allah is talking to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking to Rahmatul lil Alameen. He's telling him, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he's saying, يَوْمَ تَرَى الْمُؤْمِنِينَ وَالْمُؤْمِنَاتِ يَسْعَىٰ نُورُهُم بَيْنَ أَيْدِيهِمْ وَبِأَيْمَانِهِمْ بُشْرَاكُمُ الْيَوْمَ جَنَّاتٌ تَجْرِي مِن تَحْتِهَا الْأَنْهَارُ خَالِدِينَ فِيهَا ذَلِكَ هُوَ الْفَوْزُ الْعَظِيمُ. He says, on the day you see the believing men and believing women, their light proceeding before them and on their right, it will be said, your good tidings today are of gardens, your good news today is of gardens beneath which rivers flow, wherein you will abide eternally. That is what is the great attainment, the Fawz al-Azim. And that is what you and I are here asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, begging Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to enable us to attain in the hereafter. So Allahumma inna nas'aluka al-jannata al-firdaws wa ma qarraba ilayha min qawlin wa amal wa na'udhu bika min ghadabika wan nar wa ma qarraba ilayha min qawlin wa amal. So we seek from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala jannat al-firdaws, and whatever would lead us from our action and towards it, and from our saying towards it. And we seek Allah's refuge from the fire of hell, and whatever might lead us to it, in terms of our saying, speech, and action. So this was a bunch of, description of believers that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is mentioning, that on that day, their iman that they had in this dunya, and the action that corresponded as a result of that iman, will create a light for them. Such a light, because on the Day of Judgment it will be pitch dark. It would be their light of iman, the strength of their iman, that will guide them towards Jannah. And they are heading towards Jannah. What will happen afterwards? Who will chase those people with light? There will be some people who thought they have light, or who at least thought they will have light. And Allah is mentioning that. يوم يقول المنافقون والمنافقات للذين آمنوا انظرونا نقتبس من نوركم قيل ارجعوا وراءكم فالتمسوا نورا فضرب بينهم بسور له باب باطنه فيه الرحمة وظاهره من قبله العذاب. Allah says on the same day when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala a while ago mentioned the description of people whose light will be, in front of them. And as Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam mentions that, the light would be so powerful it would show them, the next city. That long would be the extent of their light. On the same day, the hypocrite men and hypocrite women will say to those who believe, wait for us, that we may acquire some of your light. It will be said, go back behind you and seek light. Go back behind you and seek light. What will happen? And a wall will be placed between them with a door, its interior containing mercy, but on the outside of it is torment. Imagine, the hypocrites are chasing the believers with the lights on that day, and all of a sudden a wall is coming down from top, and that would separate them, and that wall will have a door, but we'll not talk about that door. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, on one side is rahmah, and on the other side is punishment. And again, we are in the last 10 nights of Ramadan to seek from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala His pardon, His total unconditional afw. Because afw means as if the sins, a pardon, that kind of pardon, as if the sins did not exist. So we are asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to pardon us from any of that sin, any symptom of it. And not just forgive it, just erase it from our book of deeds. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is mentioning their acts even further, those hypocrites. ينادونهم ألم نكن معكم قالوا بلى ولكنكم فتنتم أنفسكم وتربصتم وارتبتم وغرتكم الأماني حتى جاء أمر الله وغركم بالله الغرور. صدق الله العظيم. Now, often we might be thinking, what would cause or what might cause me and you from being such people whose light will vanish on that day? Who would think that they would have light in the hereafter, but they won't have any light? What are the steps? Allah is listing those conditions, This will be the first stage, then this would be the second stage, then this would be the third stage, and then fourth stage, and finally they'll reach the stage when they'll have no light. Allah says, I quote the translation, the hypocrites will call to the believers, were we not with you? Were we not with you? They would stand out, sit amongst believers. They would do things alongside the believers. They'll have the names as the believers do. Were we not with you? The believers will say. Now that the believers are safe, there's a wall between them and the hypocrites, now they have a chance to talk back. Now they're not in a hurry. Nobody will take away their light. They will say, yes. But you put yourself in testing situations. فَتَنْتُمْ أَنفُسَكُمْ. You chose testing situations for your own self. You surrounded yourself with scenarios where it would be too risky for me and for you to come out successful. To be part of risky situations, to surround ourselves from, in atmospheres where we are more likely to fall prey to sinning than not sinning. They will say, yes, but you afflicted yourself and awaited. Second thing, تربصتم, and waited. Many a times when we fall prey to something that might anger Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, might displease Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, might be a source of His displeasure, we just say that, let these times pass and then I'll repent. Let these times pass, then I'll repent. Let me, just complete the job and then I'll quit and I'll do a hajj and I'll do tawbah. But I kept deferring. I kept procrastinating. So Allah is telling the exact scene that takes place with all of us in this dunya. He knows us. He's our creator. And then what did He say? So what happens when we prolong change, when we are not willing to change right now? Ramadan is about changing right now, right here. A change that will last us the rest of the year, inshallah, and for the rest of our lives. That is what Ramadan does. It puts us, shaitan is chained. So Ramadan is to bring us into put us into the zone of iman and yaqeen and amal. And amal, we are up for all the salat. We are striving to catch the takbir of each jama'ah, and especially the mu'takifun. They, for 10 consecutive days, all the salat they get from, takbir tahrima all the way until the end in jama'ah. So Ramadan puts us in this track, puts us in that zone. And that is supposed to stay. And that will stay, inshaAllah subhanahu wa ta'ala, if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala enables us to accept our du'as and our hearts are sincere in whatever we are doing. Inshallah, we pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that whatever we do good in Ramadan, that stays for good all our lives. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala enable us to reach the next Ramadan. So, what happens if one procrastinates and delays the opportunity to change? And they say, okay, we'll look into it later. Let me have fun. Let me just enjoy a few sips. Let me, do that. Let me do a few transactions. Let me do this. And then I'll do the tawbah. I'll repent. I'm already young, so I have years left. Or I'm healthy, I have more health left, etc. However, when one sins so much, shaitan comes to him or her and says, you've been sinning so much, right? Don't feel guilty about it. You don't have to be guilty. You have to feel happy. That guilt is eating you up. So instead of changing, some people, what do? They start doubting their faith. They say, I'm restricting myself too much. It's extremism. Controlling those urges. It's extremism, keeping away from the vices. It's extremism. It's, those thoughts we are rationalizing. And then we start doubting our faith. Allah is saying that, the symptoms, yes, but you afflicted yourselves, put yourself in testing situations, and then you waited, you procrastinated, and then you doubted. And then once shaitan changes our qibla from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to the things of this dunya, believe me, we start wishing more and more and more, starting from cell phones, cars, and, whatnot, assets. And, al-hakumut takathur, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that's in the fitrah of insan. However, the taqwa guides us and makes us keep a balance between each and every act of ours. So, Allah is saying, yes, but you afflicted yourselves and awaited misfortune and doubted and wishful thinking deluded you until there came the command of Allah. And what was that command? Yes. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala called it. So it's a scary situation, and from time to time, there's an entire surah in Quran named after munafiqun, and we are expected to have hope in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We are encouraged by Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam to seek forgiveness from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who is waiting to be asked, who is waiting to be called. And that is what a believer's job is. Because when we keep seeking forgiveness, when we keep asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for the smallest of the matters, it reminds us of Allah. Keeps you and me under check. So this is the 27th night, and according to many traditions of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that this might be Laylatul Qadr. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala enable us to be believers who are cautious, who are conscious, who are cautious, because Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam mentioned that a hypocrite is the only one who is not afraid of falling prey to hypocrisy, who is not afraid of being a hypocrite. It is the believers who are always concerned and who are always afraid of falling prey to hypocrisy. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, like a believer, you and me, for us to consider ourselves believers, we must pray and be afraid all the time that an action of ours might lead us to fall prey towards that hypocrisy, that nifaq. Allahumma tahhir qulubana min al-nifaq. Oh Allah, cleanse our hearts of any kind of hypocrisy, because we might not know, but it might be there. And only Allah knows, and He's taught us the tools. He's given us the symptoms. He's given us a guide, and that is Quran and the Sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala enable us to save ourselves from the fire of hell, and we make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allahumma ajirna minan nar, Allahumma ajirna minan nar, Allahumma ajirna minan nar. Ya mujiru, ya mujiru, ya mujiru. So jazakumullahu khairan kathira, dear brothers. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept our ibadah, our qiyam, and our du'as, inshallah ta'ala.
This is very, very important. Chapter 1 of Quran, and the ayah that we recited is very phenomenal. Its translation is very, very phenomenal. And I would say that the hypocrites and the moment, there is slightest difference. It's their niyyah. What's that? It's their niyyah. So what the moment do, his niyyah is only and solely is devoted towards the love of Holy Prophet and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And hypocrites are those, their level of niyyah is not this one. The level of niyyah, they are doing the same thing. They are sitting in the company of Rasulullah. They are doing the same sujood, same ruku, same everything. But their niyyah is to find what is written in between lines, to look into the errors, and then going back and telling people. When these ayah came in, Hazrat Abu Bakr Siddiq radiallahu anhu, in the middle of night, right, when he was by himself at his home, he was so much anxious, he was so much disturbed. He walked out and walked into the door, into the street of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. When he was going back, Hazrat Umar radiallahu anhu was going back into the same street, and they met each other. And when they saw there's a lot of people going on, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam came out and asked them, what you are doing at this time? What's going on? They said that when we are in your company, we feel that we are a part of your life. We are a part of your life. But when we are away from you, when we are going home and sitting, we are so scared that we might be hypocrite. Yes, because Shaitan is all the time is back on me. Why am I talking to Imam? Why am I sitting in the company of Imam? He is an Imam. He is just like me. He eats like me. He does everything like me. Alright? And exactly the Sahaba was thinking when they were sitting in the company of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, through the blessing of Rasulullah, they are connected with our Almighty. But when they feel, when they are by themselves, their status of love, their status of respect, their status of devotion and sympathy has been lowered than the way they enjoyed when they were in the company of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and they were so scared that they may not be a hypocrite. So that's why Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that no, if you have that kind of fear inside you, you cannot be a hypocrite. If you have a fear that I am doing some kind of act that might take me away from the love of Rasulullah, from the company of Rasulullah, and you always struggle, when you always struggle, means that you are washing your niyyah to be with the company of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And that's the difference. When the people, they are hypocrite with their choice, as Imam said to you, and they are not aware of it. They are not even aware of it, that with this kind of thoughts, that they will be away from the company of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But those moments, they are always scared that if I do certain things, probably my goal and my mission and my deeds may not be accepted by Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam's teaching. Whatever he told me to be close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's the only difference is to be hypocrite and not to be hypocrite. So all the time we think, that he is a teacher, he is my school, head, and he is giving us that much of teaching. Hey, I am doing the same book, I'm writing the same book, he's writing the same medication, he's doing the same thing. Why I'm just like him. Imam, mashallah, he's reciting. Hey, I can recite better than him, all right? But what's the difference between him? Means there is something that has given him that status, that his life, his devotion, and all that. But when we compare ourselves with somebody else and we think that we are just like them, then you cannot get that kind of blessing. Means The hypocrites are not the ones who are getting the direct blessing of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam teaching that He has delivered it to us. There's a wall in this world. All right, there's a wall in this world, and that wall will be solidified when you will be and they will be in the last world. All right, so this is important. Always fear that when we are saying something, we are reading something, and we are going out and doing something different. All right, but when you feel from your inside that you are doing something different and you do not want to do it, we want to do the same thing, whatever it is written or told by our Shaykh or Imam, that you will not be hypocrite. That's the thing. This I would like to add.
جزاكم الله خيرا كثيرا. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك اشهد ان لا اله الا انت استغفرك واتوب اليك. السلام عليكم ورحمه الله وبركاته.
Today we went to Makkah Masjid. There was Quran. Okay. There's a lot of Quran around.
Yeah, but I was late on. Yes. I thought I was getting late here.
Yes.
But by the time we walked out, it was 1:50.
Yes. So, mashallah, all of our recording is on Minhaj-ul-Quran YouTube. If you search Minhaj-ul-Quran YouTube, go to YouTube channel, type on Minhaj-ul-Quran, you will see all the gatherings live. But it's the risk is whatever we are talking now is also live too. So be careful with the talking. It automatically turns on when the volume goes to certain level. In high level.
पूरा कैसे का आपका रिकॉर्डिंग आया दिन का रिकॉर्डिंग है
Sound was so clear, you can't see it in the video, everything, whatever we were talking. It's good, but like it's scary.
If it's not such a voice here, we'll start recording.
Really?
Yeah.
So everything you guys
Huh?
like they were over there talking, like cracking jokes. And like all the big guys. Wait, does it like automatically go online?
Yeah. Live channel.
Wait, what's live?
This channel.
Exactly. She lost her back.
Go on. सब में पढ़ा ये लोग ने भी कहाँ पढ़ी पढ़ ली तो आपसे पहले भी सब पढ़े
No, we close generally, but because what we do at a certain time. We do not have enough time. Just take a click to
मैं करेक्ट समझता हूँ
Post production is also it takes hours of very good. Yeah, I was trying to. Oh, they will wait. They follow the not the global announcement, but global. So, and if they get any verifiable report that we have been cited somewhere in the world, Then America would be the last. They used to be when Minister Mukhtar Harawi visited a really period of local North American. No, I mean they'll wait for. No. Five for a county the size and more average. So these five will announce their teams together. They'll announce their Ramadan together. Together means which way? Or global. But what's the cut of time? In the other of the day before. Like let's say what we call Shanga. 3 बजे cut of time तो नहीं लगेगा। नहीं वो let me बता वो घंटे वो schedule है Arab के बाद because how could you do that? No, let's tell you California is 2 hours. Right. 2 hours behind. And 12:30 और 3 बजे के दरमियान निकले। नहीं हॉनोलुलु में क्या वक्त होगा बताइए? नहीं कितने घंटे का फर्क है? नहीं हाँ 1:30 बजे होगा। नहीं हमारी यहाँ पर अब 6 घंटे है ना यहाँ अगर 8 8:30 है ना सनसेट है 2:30 जैसे रमजान का उन्होंने कहा था कि हम मगरिब not possible with unaided eyes not possible with unaided eyes probably decided by then no ये basically from the report because like the rest of the world is ahead of the right so कहते हैं कि अगर your country is global society के उसमें अगर हम तो इधर से आ रहे हैं चांद तो ईस्ट की तरफ से आ रहा है अगर हम वेस्ट में बैठे हैं तो दिस प्रोजेक्ट मेक्स सेंस हाँ इस मूल में जो अभी ग्लोबल जो अभी हम यहाँ चांद को देख रहे हैं यहाँ जब हमारे पास चांद पहुँचेगा पहले न्यूयॉर्क पहुँचेगा नहीं लेकिन ये वहाँ पे नहीं आपके अमेरिका के साइड से वो तो उसका रेडियस है ना मदार वो है ना लेकिन वहीं से चांद मून साइडिंग जो है सऊदी अरब से 2 घंटे की तरफ यानी पाकिस्तान हांगकांग के ऊपर हो रही है हांगकांग यहाँ जब सुबह के 5 बजेंगे तो वहाँ हाउस यहाँ 5:03 के ऊपर साइटिंग यहाँ पे वहाँ से पहले चांद आएगा तो उधर से एक्चुअली चांद नजर आना तो वहाँ बर्फ है तो अच्छा अच्छा यहाँ नजर आना चाहिए यहाँ भी नहीं नजर आएगा तो कैलिफोर्निया में नजर आएगा वहाँ नहीं आएगा तो वहाँ नजर आएगा फिर ऑस्ट्रेलिया में जाएगा
Because when they announce the code, ये फला जगह पे नजर आया है, the code like it's
at what time they are announcing
okay, because
यहाँ डैलस में बैठे अनाउंस कर रहे हैं वो कहते हैं ग्लोबल चांद है Honolulu so that's not a valid
हवाई
no even Hawaii
नहीं हवाई में पता है कब दिखेगा जब हमारे यहाँ
जब सुबह के 2:30
वो तभी हुआ था
अनुष्का गुलजार साहब ने बताया कि जब 14 से 16 आवर्स का मून है तो आपकी मून विजिबिलिटी जो है शहादत है साइंटिफिक रूप से आजकल वो कोड ले रही है वो आपको लीगली इस्लामिक सिस्टम जो है उसको अलाउ करता है कि आप उसको देखें आपकी फिंगर प्रिंटिंग वैलिडिटी है उसके ऊपर किसी ने कोई देखा तो कि किसने बंदे को बदल किया आपका ब्लड टेस्ट आपके फिंगर टेस्टिंग आपकी बॉडी स्पीचेस आपका वैलिडिटी एंड द कोड take it even though there is no eye witness it's so well it's so accurate it's accurate than shahada alright means someone has the vision right? But exactly the same thing I have a shahada you know that there is a moon visible practically it is visible
provided the moon was at that time the valid
yeah it's 14 to 16 hour valid right so Minhaj-ul-Quran Canada has already announced that it will be on Tuesday based on that validity yeah means that because the sunset is at 8:30 and the moon set is at 9 o'clock so 30 minutes will be off the horizon in Jerusalem the moon is decided right but if there is a cloud if there is a moisture if there is some other lot of statistics and all pressure changes then moon will be decided with our unaided eye we have to have the telescope to see the moon visibility so basically we take the telescope with that it's the moon you want to see the moon I can show you the moon no yeah let's make it go up
you keep the moon on the right one and the you know in Pakistan recently they made a website to get
this is the moon today right I can even tell you in which direction you can see the moon right east side is the moon you can go to the right so if I can explain this is alright and it's second I have to make it at 8:30 p.m. 8:30 alright and PM is the time which will be decided alright okay and on to second right third is still maybe can give you alright third is the new moon at 5:03 in the morning at 5:03 in the morning the part of the moon is defined as the Earth they are in line and we are sitting on this side the moon is on the other side and we cannot see the moon because it's behind the earth and the shadow of the earth is falling on the moon smaller so Sun takes a little while, 3 hours or 4 hours, over the distance. I get out of the shade of the sun. To get out of the shade of the sun. When the earth starts to get out of the shade of the sun, then the sunlight just touch the tip of the moon. Right? That time the moon is visible and the moon is taking place. That time is about 14 to 15 hours to get the touch of the sun. Right? Get the reflection. All right. Okay. Yeah. You see that? So in Kelvin, the moon visibility, the illumination is 0.6%. From 0.5 to 1%, you can see the moon. 0.5. Here the moon is 5.3, and the sunset is, and the moon set is 8. So the sunset is 8. So there in 25 minutes, how you can see that. You see that? Now I can put this back. You see that this is the sun, red sun. Okay. Now I'm making it sunset. Alright? So you see that this is the horizon line. This is the true horizon, this is the false horizon. Alright? Alright. Sun is going earlier, so the moon is going earlier than sun. See, the moon is a bit earlier, one going to the horizon earlier, so we cannot see it. So on the third, we see the moon is just lagging behind. The moon is lagging behind. So when the sun is going down, still the sun is down, but the moon is still up there. So logically you can see it, but at fourth you can see there's a very, very clear demarcation. You see that the sun is already down, but the moon and the sunset, the moon is going to be at 1 half hour you can see the moon. So even though we have a thick moon, yeah, it means that even though with both eyes closed, you can see the moon. The next morning. See that? So my witness up here is this one, the illumination is 0.6%, and the moon drive is 5.3, sunset is 8:30. So it's 15 hours and 50 minutes. 15 hours and 35 minutes. 15 hours and 35 minutes. Now I can see other picture. Other star. ये है second, ये है third. Look at it. Can you see anything? Whatever next, you don't get. Not yet, all right? Now I'm going to tell you because here it's 8:30 p.m., all right? Can you see anything up here? Can you see anything up here? Very mild, all right? And what time is it now? 9:33 p.m. 9:33 p.m. in Arizona. The people, if they're sharp enough, eagle eye, they can see it. All right. And this is 10. All right. This is 11. This is 12. You see that the whole curve is coming up? All right. This is 1.
We're going to show this on the big screen and make sure everybody sees the
If you want to see the moon, I can show you. Why these poor people have to sit one day?
basically, I just went 2 weeks ago.
His family follows the completely different month, right? Okay, they follow the physical moon sighting. So basically, we should not follow any month, any good hadith. We should follow the specific with the clear idea, with the hadith of Rasulullah that they asked us the shahada. They asked us the shahada. Because even Quran has someone check it, I mean, shahada. So they ask for the Shahada. Right? For the Shahada, let me tell you, for Shahada, the presence of that person is not needed. Alam tara kayfa fa'ala rabbuka. Alam tara kayfa fa'ala rabbuka bi ashabil fil. Have you ever seen? Have you seen? Not ever seen. Have you seen that what your Rabb has done to the people of the elephants? Means witnessing the story. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is making the witness of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam before his birth. That have you not seen what your Rabb has done to the people of the field? What does it mean? What does it mean? It means that even though it has reached one part of the place, at that time Rasulullah was not born, he was with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and he was up there and he was seeing everything, whatever was going on. Number two, when the phenomenal things happen, Allah to say, you have such a convincing statement, and your presence is not needed, but you are giving me the Shahada that is that person. So for the Shahada, let me tell you, the presence of the person over there is not needed.
My father is like pretty much my father has been actually when the decisions the government decisions are correct when they're not correct. So like
Exactly this time I usually hidden words, I have announced no.
have you announced through an email or something?
Yeah.
Are you waiting?
No, I'm just, I don't want that to be make me a boxing bag.
Right.
But I have told everyone, that I'm on the East, we have a Shahada. The 14 to 16 hours is the first time. If the moon is above 10%,
Kalani, likelihood to have. I was just telling you how they.
let me tell you about other people. Because here, if Saudiya is doing Tuesday, it's entirely wrong. In that zone. If I'm sitting in Saudi Arabia, if I'm sitting, I will not do that. So let me tell you about Eid It's very phenomenal. Just see it. Just see it. The moon, sun and moon are dipping together.